Something suspicious awaits in the Alps. Mayday air disaster. How?
This is a tragic moment for Lufthansa. And it's really a dark day in our history.
People want answers quickly.
The fatal flight path of Germanwings 9525 seems inexplicable.
Okay.
Under control right up until the end.
What was the reason for it?
Germanwings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
What's going on?
Oh, they shooting.
Black box data points to a shocking possibility.
As a safety investigator, you think, how could this happen?
Open this damn door!
One so dark, it's almost beyond belief.
Hold on, bro. It's Germany. Happened in 2015. My favorite TV. This is your favorite TV series? Mayday air disaster. Don't Google it. I ain't Googling it. I don't know what's that. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Is this like a German show? What is this? Mayday air disaster.
It's a sunny morning at Barcelona Airport in Spain.
After start checklist. Anti-ice.
Marshall.
Anti-ice off. Rudder trim.
2015.
The crew of Germanwings Flight 9525 is preparing for departure.
Oh, okay. And I love documentaries. I love documentaries.
Drawn by the airline's low fares.
Germanwings was founded in 2002. It's part of Lufthansa Group. It always has been a low-cost carrier serving European routes.
A group of German high school students who've just finished a cultural exchange is on the flight to Düsseldorf.
Bro.
Yeah.
Singer Maria
unrealistic. No one would ever have that much room on a plane. Unrealistic. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You think anybody would have this much room on a plane? You think this baby would be able to sit comfortably?
Radner is traveling with her husband and young son. The rising opera star just completed a string of performances in Spain.
That's insane.
I was very proud of Maria. It made me so happy that she had chosen a profession that she truly loved, making music and using her beautiful voice to bring people joy.
Flight attendants, please take your seats for takeoff.
Captain Patrick Sondenheimer is a former Lufthansa first officer who recently transferred to Germanwings.
Okay.
That was a good opportunity to change from co-pilot.
That's so insane. These people are still. I mean, it happened in 2015. I don't know why I'm so like, or why I'm thinking these people would be dead by now, but I don't know.
You have control? I have control.
First Officer Andreas Lubitz, who has been with the airline for just over a year, will handle the flying.
As a co-pilot, you're learning
Wait, who's this guy? He's not the pilot.
every hour, every day, on every flight.
These are actors. Oh yeah. For some reason, I thought the old dude was the actual pilot for the plane. I was like, hold on, it's a disaster. How the hell?
07, right? Germanwings 9525.
The interviews are real. So that's the real person. Bro, what did you do? What? How did you escape?
Take off thrust.
Yeah. Obviously, obviously it's actors and CGI.
It's a routine takeoff on an ordinary Tuesday morning.
80 knots.
I wonder how hard it is to fly a plane.
V1. Rotate.
Just after 10 a.m., Germanwings Flight 9525 gets airborne.
2-3 minutes after takeoff, they must have broken cloud and been climbing out into the sun.
Okay.
Autopilot on. Autopilot on.
They're heading northeast over the Gulf of Lion towards the French Alps. They should be in Düsseldorf in just over 2 hours.
Okay.
27 minutes into the flight, the plane reaches its cruising.
Oh, he's just an investigator. That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. 2-hour flight. That's not long at all.
1,000 feet.
I wonder how a disaster happens within 2 hours.
Marseille, German wings 9525.
Flight level 380.
Air traffic control in Marseille tracks the plane as it crosses France.
Good morning, German wings. Direct Irmar.
Direct Irma, merci. German wings 9525.
Irma is a well-known waypoint in the French Alps. A point you overfly when you do this.
Oh, I thought at first I thought it was Italian. I thought it was the Italian Alps. I thought that was in Italy. French Alps makes more sense. I was like, why did he say merci? I'm like, you're German.
Then you don't talk to.
But he was talking to some French people
until they tell you to start your descent.
That makes more sense. Way more sense.
If you need to go to the bathroom, now's your chance.
Thinking about what's next in life? Visit the most comprehensive skilled trades job board in Kansas at Build.
I'm like, what the? I would look at him. I'm like, what the hell does that supposed to mean? I'll go to the bathroom when I need to, champ. We got autopilot on. We'll be good. Just don't fuck anything up. Talking about go now.
The controller in Marseille notices something odd.
German wings, Marseille. Confirm what cruising altitude you're cleared for.
Flight 9525 is descending without permission.
Well, if the air traffic controller sees an airplane leaving its assigned altitude, of course he wants to know why, because he hasn't given him clearance to descend. So he, of course, wants to inquire, why are you descending?
German wings, this is Marseille. Come in, please. We've got a problem here. German wings, unresponsive, descending rapidly.
It must be a big surprise, seeing this airplane descending without any communication.
The plane is dropping steadily. In just minutes, it's lost 10,000 feet.
German wings, come in. Do you read me?
Are we landing already?
Dog, that's insane.
It seems odd. We shouldn't be.
Dog,
The
that's
control
insane.
center is now in emergency mode.
Now approaching 25,000 feet.
What are they doing?
They are in an emergency descent or something.
German wings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
But to help the crew, they need to have contact to the crew.
The Airbus is hurtling downwards at maximum operating speed, an astonishing 350 knots.
Okay.
German wings, come in. Lima, Echo, X-ray, relay from Marseille. I need you to try and contact German wings 9525. What is their situation?
And there was even another airplane that tried to relay air traffic control's requests.
9525, how do you read?
But there was no answer.
The plane has dropped below 7,000 feet.
Oh shit!
Mountains loom closer.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Nah, if I was I can't even say if I was in that situation. I'd probably shit myself. But dog, they need to bust down that door. What the hell is that dude doing? Are you smoking crack? Pull the thing up.
10 minutes with no radio.
Oh hell nah.
An eternity for controllers.
Oh hell nah.
Nothing he can do about it. He just has to watch.
Dude, I feel like in modern times we need to have like these people be able to just control the plane. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to have like automatically controlled planes from a safe distance. So whatever is going on doesn't happen. You know?
Devastating.
What is he doing? Aren't there two pilots up in there? Oh shit! Well, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. I'm gonna send I gotta tell somebody.
We've lost contact.
The
Pat's
now too low to be detected by radar.
Oh hell no.
Oh, up. Too low.
The airplane really crashed at a very high speed. It was very important that police forces get access to the accident site immediately.
Rescuers raced.
I'm saying that's incredibly sad. What was going on? I really want to know now. Because that's insane. That's insane to happen. No communication and then it just goes down?
Find the crash site of
hell.
Flight 9525. At the same moment, the world's attention turns to these remote peaks in the French Alps.
The news about this plane crash spread very quickly on social media. I mean, Twitter just lit up.
Oh my God.
Nicola Clark is a reporter
Not
for
Twitter.
the New York Times.
Anything but Twitter.
Bits and pieces immediately started coming out, people asking questions on social media, almost simultaneous with the news alerts.
It takes an hour for searchers to spot the first remains of Flight 9525. Hope of finding survivors quickly fades.
The first helicopter.
That's such a messed up.
Found just sort of an aircraft obliterated,
shattered
into small.
Dude, that's such a messed up, because there's so many people on that aircraft that just have their own lives and just trying to do their own thing, bro. Like, I'm actually curious what is going on, because I feel like somebody was just messing up or just not listening or some shit. I don't know.
Bits and pieces. It was pretty immediate.
So,
they concluded that there couldn't possibly have been any survivors.
Among the dead, 16 young students who will never return home to their families in Halton, Germany.
That's incredibly sad, bro.
The death of opera singer Maria Radner and her young family is another devastating loss.
You're overwhelmed by it. You cannot think about anything other than the death of your children.
The enormity of
Don't
the
even make
crash
any
quickly
sense,
sinks
bro.
in. It's the worst air disaster on French soil in more than 3 decades. The aviation community needs an explanation.
Was it
Everyone needs an explanation.
pilot? Was it a technical malfunction? What was the reason for it?
Accidents like this take on a magnitude and a life of their own. People want answers quickly.
The disturbing answers will come more quickly than anyone imagines.
What's wrong with these burger buns?
Chat, I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Like,
They taste perfectly delicious, but due to a production mishap, their bottoms are slightly curved.
I like my first instinct when any tragedy happens like this, of course the first instinct is for you to blame like the captain, the pilot. You know, a ship goes down, you're like, it was the captain's fault. But I want to know if it was something technical, if it was like my shit says we going up, I can't bring this shit up, or some shit like that. Because if it's technical, then that's a whole different scenario.
To the German wings disaster. Arnaud Desjardins leads the investigation for the BEA, the French Accident Investigation Agency.
Keep personal effects separate from the other debris, please.
We knew it was going to be a big job. Big job meaning you would have to coordinate not only with Airbus and so on, but there was going to be a big political issue, a big international investigation.
If there's any sign of the black boxes, let me know.
Desjardins hopes his team can quickly recover the plane's flight recorders. They could hold crucial evidence. But combing through the wreckage is proving to be a heart-wrenching task.
The hardest thing I found personally to find stories, little dolls or teddy bears, that it belonged to a child.
At BEA headquarters near Paris, Romain Beviard joined...
These type of jobs, I literally could not work, bro. I literally could not work. I'd have like PTSD, bro. My heart would break every single time, especially if I find people. Like if I find bodies, I would be mentally, I wouldn't be well.
Need the weather charts now.
I couldn't handle it.
My part was to gather some facts on the accident itself, but at the same time to coordinate with the judicial authorities, with our counterparts from Germany, from Spain.
It's standard procedure to check if weather conditions might be a factor. In the Alps, the weather can change in an instant.
Southern Alps, 10:40 a.m.
At this stage, you're just trying to understand what went wrong and what happened.
But on this morning, in this part of the range, flying conditions were nearly perfect.
Definitely not a weather problem.
The investigation is just hours old. But Germany's biggest airline is already under intense pressure.
This is a tragic moment for Lufthansa, and it's really a dark day in our history.
The town of Haltern, Germany, is in mourning.
Einen Schockzustand überall zu spüren.
You can sense a state of shock all around.
Das ist so ziemlich das
It's pretty much the worst thing anyone could imagine.
The deadly crash comes just 2 months after a terrorist killing spree claimed 17 lives in and around Paris.
Yo, I never understand people like that, bro. I never understand people like that. Why are you just going around killing random people? Random people. What is your goal? What, after you kill those random people, what do you think is going to happen? What is your end goal? Like, it don't seem, and it's insane for anybody to go out and just start killing random people. Then, like, I don't know, bro.
Many now fear that the terrorists have
I don't know.
One of the reasons that people speculated that this might be a terrorism event was simply the proximity to the attacks on the Charlie Hebdo newspaper that left really all of France in a state of shock.
Wasn't that dude, Charlie Hebdo's newspaper? I don't know.
Radar track from air traffic control? Let's get it set up right away.
Investigators turn to radar data in the hope of discovering if a bomb blast is a possible cause.
Let's see how this plane was flying.
They study the flight path, noting altitude, time, and direction. What they find
We need
is
that
a
black
straight,
box.
controlled path downwards.
Completely under control right up until the end.
It was looking like a normal descent. It's just that it was not happening at, let's say, the proper time.
The data strongly suggests no bomb.
If we had a bomb on board the aircraft, we would probably have seen evidence of in-flight breakup, and we may have lost radar information.
The wreckage confirms it. Recovery crews are finding thousands of small pieces in a fairly confined area.
I don't think so.
A bomb blast would send large pieces falling over a much wider space.
This is not a bomb blast.
Investigators are desperate for a lead. They wonder if the Marseille air traffic controllers have any information that might help explain the strangely steady flight path.
Very straight line.
The ATC controller is not an eyewitness, but he's...
Chat, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say I have my theory. I'm just not gonna say it. I'm gonna let this documentary keep going.
the last person who talked to the crew or who could notice anything unusual.
Oh, why aren't they texting me back? Are they mad at me? Do they not like me anymore? I'm scared to ask for reassurance.
Jeez, on bread.
Germanwings Marseille, confirm what cruising altitude you're cleared for.
Germanwings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
I've never seen that before.
So after they confirmed the waypoint, you never heard from them again?
Not a word.
The controllers are just as baffled as the investigators.
They indicated us that they tried to call the Germanwings flight crew 11 times.
Germanwings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
And they never got any answers.
Germanwings, come in. Do you read me?
That must be so frustrating.
Did not respond to ATC control was intriguing, and it was really unusual.
That must be so frustrating.
To understand Germanwings' mysterious descent into the mountains.
Have we got through to maintenance yet?
They wonder if a mechanical failure might be to blame.
I'm praying. I'm not saying I'm praying that it is, but I'm hoping it's not what I think it is.
The A320 is one of the most popular planes in the sky.
I'm hoping it's not what I think it is, bro.
The ice off.
That's all I'm
Investigators
saying.
worry the Airbus may have a hidden flaw.
Rudder trim is 0.
If there is some kind of a technical problem, especially an aircraft like the A320, they want to know as quickly as possible.
Maybe it could be a
and get that
technical
resolved
problem.
in order to eliminate that risk for the rest of the flying public.
But the one thing I'm saying is it don't seem like a technical problem because they already established that the plane was going down in a straight path down, and it's like they were like as if it was given, like if it was landing but it wasn't landing in the right area, or it was landing too early. That's why I'm saying I hope it's a technical issue, because what I'm thinking is somebody was actually doing that shit on purpose, bro. And if you were, like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Strange flight path.
That's my theory. Somebody was doing this shit on purpose.
German wings unresponsive, descending rapidly.
When the airplane depressurizes and the pilots do not get enough oxygen, they will suffer from hypoxia. In other words, they will lose consciousness in a very short time, depending on the altitude of the airplane. At flight level 380, they will lose consciousness within about 10 to 15 seconds.
German wings.
That's crazy. Okay,
Hypoxia would explain the radio silence.
Oh, damn. I did not think about that shit. So this person could have just been knocked out. But I feel like if they were knocked out, they wouldn't go in the straight path down. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't go in the air. It would be like if they were knocked out using autopilot. I feel like they would just go like. It would be weird. It would be like it wouldn't go like down. I feel like it would go straight and then crash into like a mountain or something, or maintain altitude at least. I don't know exactly how autopilot works on a plane, but I feel like it maintains altitude and maintains like direction at least. You know, if you're going straight, it's going to go straight.
It would not be the first time it happened. In 2005, a Boeing 737 ran into trouble en route to Athens.
It's a Boeing, so
all radio contact was lost after the crew became incapacitated by a lack of oxygen.
The pilots never regained consciousness, and that flight ultimately crashed when the plane ran out of fuel.
That's what I'm saying. When it's like something like this, then it's a 2-hour flight, bruh. It's a 2-hour flight, and you crash in the middle of the 2-hour flight. There is no way you only have fuel for 1 hour unless somebody was being stupid, bro. Like, what are you doing? 30-minute fuel? You gonna go to Quick Trip and pick up some more? Like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think this is what happened, because I feel like it would just go on a straight, like I said, it's gonna go on a straight path, and then it's just gonna fall out the sky.
Now investigators want to know if the same thing happened over the French Alps.
Hypoxia was a very likely possibility.
Investigators discover that German wings looked into a mechanical issue with the plane the day before it crashed. Were mechanics concerned about something that could have caused a loss of cabin pressure?
Well, it not being a Boeing plane, it should hold up. Boeing planes are basically like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
There's a problem. Left nose gear door.
They soon learn the answer is no.
That wouldn't have anything to do with this crash.
Faulty landing gear door is not an issue at all because it's well outside the pressurized area of the aeroplane.
We saw that the aircraft was maintained according to a proper maintenance program.
V1. Rotate.
We were quite confident that the aircraft was in a good structural condition when it took off.
So far, evidence has ruled out severe weather and a mid-air bombing. There are no red flags in the maintenance records. Investigators are still in the dark.
We can't completely rule out hypoxia.
But before the first day of investigation is through, the team has a new lead.
We found it.
Searchers have found the cockpit voice recorder. It's in
Bam.
bad shape, but if the data can be retrieved, it could answer a lot of questions.
Bam.
There was hope that that recording would reveal something clear about what actually happened.
Being able to have something to always protect myself with this Byrna allows me to have that peace of mind no matter what.
Crews continue the difficult job of recovering bodies from the mountains near Seine-les-Alpes. The local gymnasium is now a welcome center for grieving families.
I couldn't do it, bro. I just couldn't do it.
Investigators, military police, and firefighters all work the crash site. Their focus is finding the second black box, the flight data recorder.
I just imagine if I was one of the families, bro. I couldn't do it, bro.
We had difficulties in locating it, but we were not going to leave this accident site without recovering the flight data recorder.
French prosecutor Brice Robin arrives on the scene to oversee a separate criminal investigation.
In France, it's a very different situation. The French authorities automatically open two investigations, a technical investigation into the causes of the crash and a criminal investigation that ultimately seeks to determine whether there was any liability.
The two investigative teams must work side by side. For now, neither can point to a cause. There simply isn't enough evidence.
We cannot understand how an airplane which was in perfect technical condition with two experienced and trained Lufthansa pilots was involved in such a terrible accident.
Are we ready?
Could the cockpit voice recording provide new insights?
Captain is Mike 1, first officer is Mike 2.
I've worked for 6 years as a flight recorder specialist. We may not be able to understand why everything happened, but at least we have a good starting point.
After start checklist. Anti-ice. Anti-ice off.
Okay, so the captain's running the checklist. That means the first officer is flying.
Rudder trim. Rudder trim is 0.
The checklists and taxi to the runway are all faultless.
80 knots. Cross-checked.
V1. Rotate.
The takeoff seems fine. They hear no hint of any trouble. "12 minutes
What are you
later,
doing? What's she doing?
a flight
What's she
attendant
pressing?
requests entry to the cockpit.
What
Why?
you can hear there is clicks and clacks of switches being operated.
I'll let her in.
You can hear cockpit doors opening and closing. So you have a lot of sounds that can be interpreted.
How delayed are we? Some of the passengers are asking.
30 minutes. We might make some of that up in the air, but not much.
Do either of you need anything?
I'm getting a bit hungry. Would you mind bringing me some lunch?
No problem. I'll be right back.
There was some general talking about the flight. You could tell by the tone of their voices that it was like a normal follow-up of the flight.
If you need to go to the bathroom, now's your chance.
Good idea. I think I will go.
Chat, not to take away from anything, but the actor playing the stewardess is a baddie.
You can hear noises of a person going out of the cockpit. And from this point, the cockpit gets very quiet.
Captain's left the cockpit. The first officer is alone in there.
It is the exact moment that the plane starts descending. No voices can be heard in the cockpit for 2 minutes. Then 3. Then 4.
Captain is still in the bathroom. First officer is clearly on his own.
The cockpit microphone picks up the sound of the first officer breathing. Evidence that the plane did not suffer a fatal depressurization.
Germanwings Marseille, confirm what cruise altitude you're cleared for. Germanwings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
Not starved for oxygen, no loss of cabin pressure. Why isn't he answering ETC?
The strange silence.
I already knew it, chat. I ain't gonna hold you. I already knew it. It's some bullshit, bruh.
The cockpit mystifies investigators. The search for an explanation will lead them down a very troubling path.
Ruined so many lives, bro. I'm sad in my life. I want to end it all. Go do it by yourself then. By yourself then.
pilot could
I
enter
knew it was
by
this, bruh.
pressing a buzzer. Then the other pilot can watch on the camera if he has the right to enter the cockpit.
All he has to do.
Chat, the second they said it came at a direct altitude, I knew one of them. I didn't know if it was the first or the captain or if it was both of them, but I knew they were at fault, bruh. I knew they were at fault because the second they said it came at a angle like as if they were landing, so I'm like, so it was precise. It wasn't like erratic, like if it was like losing altitude at like at no one's control.
Flip a switch to unlock the door. But there's no response from Lubitz.
German wings, it does not say. Come in, please. German wings, you read me. Come in.
Dude.
Why isn't he unlocking the door?
We could hear some breathing, but of course you can breathe and be unconscious. So yes, physical incapacitation was a possibility.
Oh, well, I might be wrong. I guess he might be, because I was thinking like you could be unconscious and still, like I wasn't thinking that, but yeah, you can be unconscious and still breathe.
Clearly hear it.
I thought they were on some bullshit, but I guess he could be unconscious.
The buzzer or the call, of course, is noticeable and it is distinguished to any other sounds in the cockpit, so you know that somebody wants to talk to you or wants to enter the cockpit. There's no doubt about that.
The plane is now well into its descent, speeding towards the Alps.
Why isn't he opening the door? Is he unconscious?
The sound of the banging grows louder and louder.
Hearing the banging on the door is quite disturbing because it's not what you're used to listening to when you listen to CVRs.
Oh, up. Too low. Brain. Too low.
At the end of the recording, we were, still trying to understand what had happened.
Yo, I'm sorry for the ads,
There
bro.
seems to be no evidence of a mechanical failure. No terrorist.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was unconscious. I don't know.
All investigators know for certain is that the first officer was alone in the cockpit when the plane hit the mountains.
Did he do this on purpose?
There were really sort of one of two possibilities. Either the pilot was incapacitated or that this was some kind of suicidal act.
They are forced to consider the unthinkable.
That's what I was just thinking.
Officer Andreas Lubitz locked his captain out of the cockpit and deliberately crashed the plane.
Pull everything we've got on Lubitz.
Just 3 days into the investigation, the French prosecutor makes an unprecedented move. He speculates publicly on the cause of the crash.
Damn.
The most credible, the most likely explanation for us is that the co-pilot voluntarily refused to open the cockpit door.
Though all the facts still aren't known, the prosecutor's statement paints a chilling picture.
It was something that was not only a shock to the public at large, but I think particularly a shock to the aviation community and to the pilot community.
Within hours, several European airlines vow to make rule changes, requiring 2 crew members in the cockpit at all times.
Hi, hello, I'm calling from the Accident Investigation Bureau. I wonder if you had just a few moments to talk about your colleague, Mr. Andreas Lubitz.
The BEA's job now is to find out why a 27-year-old pilot with a bright future ahead of him might want to deliberately crash a passenger plane.
As a safety investigator, you...
Bro, he better not say this shit's over a girl. If he says this is over a girl, he's going straight to hell. I just know it. To the deepest, darkest pits. They're probably going to make a whole new level for him. Simping, you kill yourself and kill millions of other people over simping? Yeah, you're gone, buddy. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone.
Could this happen?
Okay, thank you very much. Just need 5 minutes of your time. If you
Better not be over no girl, bro.
Okay, I understand.
None of Lubitz's close friends or family will speak to them.
What? Dude, I probably wouldn't. Dude, because it's such a... Dude, I know this like such a like medieval and classical, but it's such a dude, having somebody in your family member do something like that, that is so, I want to even say embarrassing. That's so dishonored. Like, it's like it's not like there's not a family legacy, but it's like that's what you're gonna be known for, bruh. That's what your family's gonna be known for. That shit's insane.
No one will talk.
There is a very strong culture of privacy in Germany, and family members tend to be quite guarded.
Reporters visit his local flying club. People there remember Lubitz as an unassuming young man who loved to fly.
Mitglieder des Vereins sind schlichtweg geschockt.
He was a very calm, responsible man. It's inconceivable.
Ist unvorstellbar.
In a Düsseldorf neighborhood, the search for evidence intensifies.
The German police went to Andreas Lubitz's apartment and started looking for any and every bit of evidence as to what might have motivated him, what his mental state might have been.
An examination of Lubitz's personal life could answer the question now being asked around the world. Was there a dark and dangerous alter ego hiding behind a calm exterior? As the perilous recovery work continues in the French Alps, so does the search for the flight data recorder. A key piece of evidence that could reveal if the plane was deliberately flown into the ground. In Paris, aviation investigators dig into Andreas Lubitz's background, his training, and medical records.
Okay, let's see what we've got.
They go back to Lubitz's basic training at Lufthansa's Flight Academy in September 2008.
Just 2 months into training, he broke it off. He didn't return for 9 months. It was for medical reasons. Depression.
The records show that Lubitz suffered a severe depression and was hospitalized.
Treatment included antidepressant drugs, psychotherapy, and it emerged as well that he had actually had suicidal thoughts.
He later applied to resume his training, but needed a new medical certificate.
He was still on antidepressants in early 2009. He had to provide a doctor's note.
Lubitz got the clearance from his psychiatrist.
He had a certification from his treating doctor that said that he was fully recovered.
He moved to the U.S. and completed his pilot training there.
And after the end of his training, he ended up flying for German Wings.
I'll let you.
How delayed are we? Some of the passengers are asking.
Lubitz received regular medical exams from company doctors. His last checkup was 7 months before the crash.
The medical examiners that saw him all thought he was fit to fly, and as a matter of fact, he flew safely for several years.
30 minutes.
Even on the day of the crash, Lubitz seemed perfectly healthy.
Do either of you need anything?
I'm getting a bit hungry. Would you mind bringing me some lunch?
No problem. I'll be right back.
A mental health problem might not necessarily lead to significant changes about their behavior.
Professor Robert Bohr is a specialist in aviation psychology.
In some cases, people do put out signs that they are feeling increasingly fragile and disoriented to the extent that they may be thinking of suicide. But there will always be those people who are planning and indeed plotting their own demise, suicide, but they will not communicate it to anyone else.
Digging deeper into Lubitz's records.
If you're gonna do that by yourself, bro. Keep it. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. If you're gonna do that by yourself. You know, go into the woods. I don't know. Ocean. Do it by yourself. Don't bring anybody with you. You're already gonna hurt the people. You're already gonna hurt enough people that care about you doing that act on your own. Now you're gonna traumatize others that had nothing to do with your situation. Come on, man. I always say this, man. Doing that shit is one of the most selfish things you could do, man. One of the most, cause you're hurting so many other people. But if you're gonna do it by yourself. Don't bring. Talking about, I'm gonna bring people with me. Nah.
They learned that in the months leading up to the crash, he seemed to take a turn for the worse.
He was convinced that perhaps he was losing his eyesight, and yet nothing was found that was abnormal about his eyesight.
Yo, let's not have crazy people on a. What does that matter, bro? If you're losing your eyesight, who gives a shit, bro? Use your other 4 senses. You gonna do that shit to all those people because you're losing your eyesight, man? I guess you couldn't see the reality, bro.
That he was becoming increasingly frightened to the point of desperation that his career was going to be disrupted.
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Why pay more for the same weights at other gyms when you can save tons at Planet Fitness?
He saw something like 41 different doctors complaining of the same symptoms and same issues. And it's not clear that any of them knew how many other doctors he was seeing.
Probably
it's not
not.
Clear how many of them might have known that he was an airline pilot.
Among the items found in Lubitz's apartment, investigators make a remarkable discovery.
What have we got here?
A recent doctor's note advising the disturbed pilot not to fly.
This note was issued just days before the crash.
Some of his treating physicians had recommended that he stop flying, perhaps enter a hospital, a psychiatric hospital.
Investigators wonder if Lufthansa knew how serious Lubitz's mental problems really were.
Probably not, because he ripped up the paper. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, obviously not. Like, I know he's crazy, but nah. I think I could trust him. Trust him to leave him alone for a couple seconds.
Representatives reveal they had absolutely no idea.
You've never seen this note?
Lubitz consulted dozens of doctors. Many of them wrote sick leave notes, but not a single doctor ever contacted the airline directly to raise the alarm about the pilot's spiraling mental state.
And they are assuming that when they provide these sick leave certificates, the co-pilot will himself forward those sick leave certificates to the authority or to his employer, and therefore he will not be flying.
Then, after a 10-day search, one more vital piece of evidence is recovered from the mountains.
The data box.
That we found it, just going through all the debris, and at some point someone found the flight data recorders.
The hope now is that the FDR can paint a clearer picture of what the first officer was doing in the final moments of the flight.
If you need to go to the bathroom, now's your chance.
Good idea. I think I will go.
"100 feet. Right after the captain left, he set the altitude to 100 feet.
The data confirms that Lubitz was fully conscious throughout the descent. Alone in the cockpit, he dropped the altitude to its lowest setting and cranked the speed dial several times until it reached maximum operating speed.
He was conscious to the very end. He was actively controlling the plane.
Open the door.
It's locked. Something's wrong.
Open the door. Lubitz, what are you doing? Let me in. Open the door. Lubitz! Lubitz! Open this damn door! You need the crash act. Open the door!
They have an axe?
There's always a crowbar, or we call it an emergency axe.
Hold on. I was just thinking about that shit. I was like, man, if they had a crowbar or axe, they could pry that shit open. I was like, boy, and once I pry that shit open, I'm bashing your head in.
Airplane to gain access to a fire if the fire is behind panels.
Come on! Open the damn door!
Give me the axe.
Come on! Look!
Give me the axe. Give me the axe. I'll chop this shit down. It's a dull ass axe.
The captain was, of course, desperate to getting into the cockpit.
Break the handle. Is there a handle?
His descent was continuing.
Open it! Come on! Open it! Damn it! Open this damn door!
Cabin crew was watching them. That must be horrible for them, knowing that they were going to die.
Try to use the axe to pry it open. Dig it into the wall and pry it open.
German wings.
Bro, like I always, this shit is the most selfish shit, and you gonna bring other people that don't have. You're a terrorist, my dude. You're bringing other people that don't have anything to do with what you're going through into your situation. That's what you're gonna do, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I would have took that, bro. If they ever got in, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if they took that axe and bashed your skull in. I'm not gonna hold you.
Come in. Do you read me?
Insane, bro. And this shit happened in 2015, bro. That shit was 9 years ago, bro.
Every night when I go to sleep, I see a picture in front of my eyes.
That shit's
The three of them
insane.
are crashing into a mountain. This image never goes away.
Bild, das geht bei mir nicht weg.
Over some oh my gosh, bro. And you can't have no sympathy for no person like this, bro. You really cannot have I could not have sympathy for you because you want to do something like this. Are you sick? Like, for real, my G. I can't have no sympathy. It's impossible, man.
The terrifying cause for the loss of 150 lives has
150 people because your crazy ass want to be crazy. Like, dude, come on, man. It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
But investigators are about to discover that the tragedy of Germanwings Flight 9525 has one more dark chapter.
What?
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos, wondering why you can't find the motivation to do the
Let's go back to the beginning.
Flight 9525 from Barcelona to Dusseldorf was Lubitz's second flight of the day. His first was in the opposite direction, from Dusseldorf to Barcelona. On that flight, the captain also left the cockpit.
From Dusseldorf to Barcelona, we realized that at some point the co-pilot remained alone in the cockpit, and during this time he made some altitude selections.
After the captain stepped out, Lubitz briefly set the altitude to 100 feet.
Those altitude selections went back to normal before the captain came back.
It was a dry run. A quick rehearsal for a tragedy just hours away.
Oh, I was about to say, because if the captain came in, I saw you had set it to 100 feet. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. You're gonna go skydiving without a parachute, my boy.
Yes, everything's just fine. This was no spur-of-the-moment decision. This was a carefully planned murder-suicide.
He wanted to do that on purpose, and he had planned it. He had planned it to not only kill himself, but 149 other people with him.
I have to say it was as bad as learning about the death of my daughter. It hit me very deeply. Even to this day, I can't imagine it.
What exactly was going on in Lubitz's mind may never be known. None of the doctors would speak to investigators.
Yeah, because it's so because dude, if you're a doctor, dude, you must feel so like absolutely guilty. It's like, bro, it's like you're like, if you're a doctor, you're like, damn, this person is absolutely crazy. But clearly, these people didn't think he was gonna go do some crazy shit like what he was doing. So like, or they thought he was in the same or in some type of sane reality that where he would recognize or see what they're saying and take it and take what they're saying for at least like take their advice. But dude, being a doctor in that situation, you must feel so guilty because you could like instantly you could probably thought of 100 different things you could have done differently. You're like, I should have went to the thing myself. I should have sent them this. I should have notified them. I should have told them this. You should like. There's so many things that you think like, oh, I should have. At the end of the day, it's this dude's fault. I ain't gonna put the blame on no one else. It's his fault because those doctors didn't tell him to go crash a plane. Them doctors didn't say, oh, you're fit to fly. They told him. They told these people. I'm not saying that telling him was the best idea. Obviously not. But the doctors weren't malicious or weren't being neglectful or weren't being like weren't thinking out of the realms of what a sane person would think.
But experts in the field agree. Lubitz was likely suffering from a psychotic depressive episode.
That person is no longer fully in control of all of their cognitive functions.
I truly do not care. I'm blaming you.
This person loses a sense of reality, they become very distracted, and it's at that level that things are more concerning, particularly in aviation.
A psychotic pilot somehow ended up alone in the cockpit of a passenger plane.
One of the questions that, still lingers out there is when was the moment that Andreas Lubitz could have been stopped? When was the moment that this disaster could have been prevented?
And you could probably recall like 100 different moments, bro. You could probably say 100 different moments, but it's such a impossible, like, cause no one knows what you're about to do. As they said before, this man wasn't displaying any signs of like any tendencies, so it's hard to say what's the moment, because you would first need a moment in knowing a situation before you can prevent anything. You can't prevent something that you don't know is going on. It's an unknown. If you don't know something is happening, you can't prevent it. You can't cause it or prevent it. You just don't know. So I'm not gonna blame this shit on anybody else except for him, bro.
And who could have done so?
It's impossible.
There were over 40 doctors who knew the medical situation of this murderer, and not one of them took measures to somehow prevent such a tragedy.
And that's what I'm saying. It's you want to blame the doctors, you want to blame these people, but at the same time, he could have not told the doctors. He could have, obviously he wasn't sound of mind, but the doctors may have not thought he was crazy, because he as crazy as he was, because as we've seen, he wasn't displaying any displaying any mannerisms of a person with incredible deep psychological issues. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't actively displaying it, so it would be hard for them to say. Or maybe they knew he was disturbed, but they thought like, okay, he's not actively, he's on medication. We see he's on this, so he might be mentally disturbed, but we'll give him these notices. He might come in and act. He might want to have these notices so he can take some time off from flying. There's so much more to the mentality, because it'll be one thing if you see this man talking about how he's going to run around and how he's going to hurt people and hurt himself and all these things. Then it's like, okay, obviously I need to do something more than send him with a doctor's slip. You know what I'm saying? But if he was just walking in and then having these delusions about like your eyes and shit, and then it's like you're on these types of medications, they'll give you eye drops, but you might not instantaneously see a problem. You know what I'm saying?
So ein Unglück zu verhindern.
I love you.
And I think that is the saddest part. There was information available that could have actually prevented
thank you,
this
man.
accident.
What's wrong with these burger buns?
Sorry for these
They
ads.
taste perfectly delicious, but due to a production mishap, their bottoms are slightly curved instead of flat.
Investigators conclude that the importance of personal privacy in German society likely played a role. Doctors in Germany have a very good reason not to share any patient information.
In the German system, doctors can potentially face prosecution if they breach their patient's medical confidentiality.
They were relying
No wonder they weren't saying shit.
to select himself out of flight. The fact that he didn't do this is both a failure of the individual pilot, but also a failure of the medical system.
In my opinion,
there you go.
there's too much weight given to doctors' confidentiality over safety. And I think we need to do a step in the right direction to have safety first and confidentiality afterwards.
Yeah.
In its final report, the BEA calls for clear rules for healthcare providers. Rules that could help stop the next Andreas Lubitz.
We recommend to adjust the line between public safety and the protection of personal information.
They also recommend more strict...
And that's true too. He's not just a person that wants to harm himself. He's also a murderer. He's most definitely a murderer.
mental health evaluations for airline pilots.
We have put together a set of safety recommendations that makes the system less likely that such an event would happen again in the future.
The lessons learned could prevent a repeat of the Germanwings crash. But for Klaus Radner, what's important now is keeping the memory of his loved ones alive.
Boy.
War ein hilfsbereiter Mensch.
That shit alone would send me into a depression. I'm not gonna hold you.
Maria was a very caring person. And I want this little family to be remembered how they really were.
So in Erinnerung bleibt, wie sie auch wirklich waren.
Friendly, honest, and happy.
Und glücklich.
Man, yo, that was a good video. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Air Canada Express, man. That was actually a very, very good video. I enjoyed it a lot, man. I think I gotta do some more of these midday air disasters. I'm kind of hooked now. I'm kind of intrigued. I kind of want. I like being up in there with the investigators. It makes me feel like, hold on, bro. I don't think that theory's correct, or I like that shit. I like that shit. You know. Thank you for suggesting this. This was a very good. I never knew about this show. I like how they also do the acting, and the. I don't know. I just like the whole vibe. And again, man,